Hey, what are you doing? Is that my key to my Range Rover?
Yeah.
Like, okay. Well, I was going somewhere. What do you want me to do now? I can't use my finger.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to get a copy of this key. You go to the dealer and it's like, I don't know, $800 to get a key.
$800.
Well, I might be exaggerating, but it's a lot of money. So
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how to either duplicate this or just get another key. So I've been trying all kinds of things.
Well, you better get busy because this is not usable.
When are you leaving?
Well, I guess I'll change my plans.
All right, baby. I'll figure it out as quick as I can.
Okay.
Okay, as we get into it, let me dispel some misinformation that's floating around out there. There are multiple types of keys, multiple vendors selling you different types of keys. And I've been through this, and let me just share what I've learned. So, for example, this is a actual Land Rover branded key from a previous vehicle. Some people sell them used on eBay, and they claim that you can reprogram these. To date, I've not figured out that that is a true statement. I bought this one used off eBay, and I've not been able to find any way to reprogram these. So there is a difference in keys. So for example, let's just talk about the circuit boards. So the Land Rover key, everything is built into the circuit board. If you buy a key that fits your, say, LR3 or a Range Rover Sport, those are built on a different immobilizer, and they're built on a Ford model, whereas this is built on the BMW system. And so they're not interchangeable. The one thing that I have found out is that if you buy a key from, say, a locksmith that sells keys online, look at the difference. They're a much simpler circuit board design, and the way they work is the actual microchip that codes to your car is separate. And I'm going to set that right there because it's so small. But the microchip is separate from the board, and therefore the concept is that you can program these microchips. These chips have different code numbers. There's an ID46 and an ID44. What I found is even for the Range Rovers, for example, mine's a 2009, but my series went pretty much from 2007 to 2009. And then, of course, you can go back to the BMW series, which are 2004 to 2005, depending on how you look at it. 2003 even, maybe, is when they started, but model year 2004. So those are even a little bit different. So you have to do a lot of research when you're trying to come up with a second key. So what we're going to try to do today, through my research, I found that if you get a VVDI programmer or decoder or chip reader, that it can clone a factory key to a new chip. So the first thing we do is we can actually use the factory key, and we insert it in here, and we select a mode of reading the chip ID. And that's how we find out what chip ID we have. And we'll walk through that in just a minute. But you can also, supposedly, and we're going to find out if it actually works today, you can supposedly then clone your factory key with this programmer, and then copy that cloning to the chip. And then you would simply take that chip and embed it well, not embed it, but enclose it in to your new key box with the simplified circuit board that you got from the locksmith. Now there's there's two other components to this. And that is, one of them is you still have to get your key cut. And I had this one cut by a local locksmith. And you'll find, as you make some phone calls, not everybody can cut a key from a Land Rover key fob. So you may have to call a few shops. But I was able to find one, and they were able to cut both this blade for my Land Rover and the blade for my LR3. Now, another difference. I don't have the LR3 blade here with me now, but there are two different types of blades as you buy these key fobs. And you have to make sure that you know what you want. If you're buying for a Land Rover, most of them will have this wider blade. And I'll tell you what that is in a minute. The LR3s have a more narrow blade. And so you have to make sure you have the right blade when you get that key cut. Okay, I grabbed an LR3 key, and a Range Rover Sport would probably be the same. Let's compare those. So the wider blade is called an HU92. The narrower blade is called an HU101. And like I mentioned before, there have been reports of people who own Range Rovers that actually have the narrow key as well. So I guess it just depends on your data manufacturer. But in my case, mine is the wide one. And also, most of these come with a particular chip. Most of these wide ones come with a ID46 chip. My LR3 has ID44 chip in it. Now, the way we get around that is we buy that locksmith supplied key circuit board, and then we buy an extra chip. Now, this is how it worked for me. This is Xhorse brand. I bought this online, and I'll have a link below. But when I bought this, you can buy chips separately. They come in a bag of 10, so you'd have to buy 10 of them. They're not that expensive. But the cool thing about their microchips is they call them super chips. And they're super chips because they will take programming from multiple ID numbers. And in our case, for most of our Land Rover products, this super chip will program for either the ID46 or the ID44. So that one bag of chips would work for pretty much any Land Rover product that you have. All right, now hopefully that's clear as mud. And what I want to do next is let's test this theory out and see if this works. All right, so we're out in the car for this next part. All right, so from the home screen, we're going to scroll once from the home screen. We're going to click on Transponder Clone. And it asks us to put our transponder into the coil. Now in our case, that is our key. And so I'm going to set the phone down for just a second. We've got our mini VVDI tool here. We're going to take our original key, or our current working key, put it in the coil, and then we're going to click on Read Transponder. It goes pretty quickly. Now you can see, hopefully you can see that this is a type 46. So our chip is an ID46. and it does say it's clonable. So we're going to go ahead and clone. And then we're going to, at the bottom, we've got a button that says Start Clone. And we have some options here. In this case, we're going to choose the 46 transponder clone. So we got our original key, it's checking it. Alright, and then it wants to know our acquisition method. Original key clone. Yeah, we're going to do that. So it's asking us to put this coil antenna near the ignition switch. I'll hold this now. And then it says put the key in. Turn it to position 1. And then it wants us to put the key back in the coil. Oh, I think we're supposed to put our super chip in here. All right, so I've got my chip, and I'm going to drop my chip right here. And let's see what happens now. Okay, now we got a new message. So what does it say? Copy successful. Ooh. All right. So that should be it. So now let's move into the workshop and we'll take a closer look at this. All right. So now if this worked properly, we have a chip that is programmed or cloned to our original key. So what we do with this chip is we take our new key fob that we bought. Again, this is the one we bought from a online locksmith. It's the simpler circuit board as opposed to the factory one, because it doesn't have a chip embedded onto it. That's the difference. Well, one of the differences. So what will happen is this fits right here, but before we do that, we take our new chip and we're going to glue it. There's a little slot for it. Guess we can get rid of our spring. So there's this little slot right here at the top, and we're just going to glue that chip right there in the slot, and then our circuit board will sit right on top of it, and we put together our key fob and we try it. So that's the concept, and I'll get back with you after we get this together. Okay, I figured we might as well show you how this goes together. So on your spring, you have a recessed area, and then you have a little wing that sticks out. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the little wing goes down inside your key fob. There is a little indentation for it. And then this piece will go on top, and you basically just twist it till it locks into place on the spring. Then you've got to make sure you actually have 3 tabs on this, and those 3 tabs need to line up with these 3 slots in here. Let me turn this over. The other one is recessed further down. So in this case, that's right here. And then what we have to do is we have to wind it counterclockwise. And this is a bit of a trial and error thing. I don't think I've ever actually counted my windings, but if you get it too loose, it won't snap out, and if you get it too tight, then you'll ruin your spring. And mine feels really tight, and I'm only on my second revolution. So once you get it there, push it down into place, like so, and then you can snap your top cap off or on. Haha! Locks into place, push the button, locks into place, snaps out. Okay? Now, at this point, if that clone works successfully, we should be able to go start the car. There is a chance that the actual programming, like the Land Rover door locks, don't clone over. But let's go find out, and if not, then we'll talk about how to fix that part. Okay, this is moment of truth. We got the new key. We'll slide it in. Remember, I've already had it cut by a locksmith locally. Slide it in and see what happens. How about that? Okay. Wow. We now have a spare key. So now the next thing is, does it lock? Okay, so, all right, so we're going to try this and see if it works. So we take our new key, put it in the ignition. We're going to turn it to position 1 momentarily. And then we're going to turn it right back off, pull it out, and we're going to press the unlock button and hold it. And then we're going to let go, and we're going to immediately push the lock button 3 times. And that may or may not have worked. Let's just test here. Car still starts. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to go back to the drawing board on that one. All right, we're going to try some more variations of this and see if we can get this figured out. This time, I'm going to only go to the position 1. We're going to go twice. Pull our key out, hold down the lock button. 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It does say that you have to do this within 30 seconds of putting it in the ignition. Going to the on position this time. We're going to try it 4 times this time. Hold down our lock button. I'm going to wait 3 seconds. And then I'm going to press the lock button. 3, 4, 5. So, let's summarize this video. What have we been able to accomplish, and what have we figured out? Well, for one, I now have a backup key for my L322 Range Rover, and I haven't had one since we bought it 3 years ago. So we have gotten somewhere. What I haven't been able to do is to program it to work with the remote functions to unlock and lock the doors. So it is purely a backup key. If the other one dies, if we lose it, if we lock it inside the car, we have a way to unlock the door manually and it will drive the car. So those are all positives. I didn't have to spend $500 at the dealer. So if I recall, I probably paid around $30 for the key fob. Probably another $30 to cut the key. I think I probably paid somewhere around $100 for the mini VVDI key tool, mini key tool. What else? I believe that, oh, and probably another $10 on a bag of super chips, the ID chips. So we have proven that you can clone a key. And so we were successful in that regard. I will keep trying to figure out how to program this. I did find one thread online that said starting in 2009, you could no longer self-program remotes for Land Rovers. Now, I don't know if that's true. It is one thread I read, but that may have something to do with it. It may not. But the good news is we have a backup key, and you could essentially do the same thing yourself if you wanted to. I'll leave some links in the description to some of those tools I mentioned. And other than that, thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Oh, hey, I've locked the keys in the car by accident.
Oh, baby, I'm sorry. Well, oh wait, we just made that new key. This is a perfect opportunity to try it out. Should we try it?
I guess we'll see if this works.
Moment of truth.
Oh, let's see.
Maybe it's the other way.
Oh.
Whoa! Look at that. Wow. The joys of a second set of keys.
How about that?
Saves the day. You are a lucky girl. You know how much a locksmith would have charged us for that?
Really?
You would have had to pay me back in kisses.
Yeah, okay.
So I just saved you. Well, good luck, baby.
Good
job.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Okay.